Hello guys, welcome to the demo session on artificial intelligence. Today we'll be going to cover a topic called as generative AI, a demo on generative AI. So in this demo, we'll be looking at a practical example of how you could use generative AI for creating your own applications. We'll have an understanding of what is generative AI. We'll do a little comparison with our known tools like ChatGPT and other things. And then we will create our own a local application. That's the target for today. We'll spend around 1 hour, a little over 1 hour for understanding this application. And based on your questions and doubts, we can spend another half an hour or so to clarify your questions and doubts. So let us understand what is generative AI. So generative in the nature, it says it is going to create something. Create something. Now, what is it going to create? It is going to create some text output, images, videos, and so on. A combination of them. So it is also called as multi-model. It can create a combination of all these things, maybe creation, combination of text and images, videos with embedded images or videos with embedded text, subheadings, and so on. So combination of this is possible. Now, how application is invoked in a generative AI? A person will be interacting with an application. It can be like a chat-based application. You'll be asking some question. There will be a lot of response to the question. In the behind, what happens is the application will be invoking a LLM. LLM is nothing but large language model. So what is large in this large language model? Large means large volume of data. Volume of data. Lot of data, a lot of parameters, lot of content, lot of information. We will be using that large volume of data for training this model. Second one talks about language. This is a nature of content. What type of content is used. So it can be text data, it can be image data, video data, type of languages like English, Hindi, Telugu, or different kinds of languages are being used for training the model. And the third one, the model says it is a executable. So it is like a condensed version of all these things, right? So you take large volume of data, you train on the large volume of data. Specifically, you're targeting for creating a language output, and that will be condensed as an executable. It is called as a model. In the shortcut, you call it as an LLM. So what are the known LLMs? You know, the ChatGPT. The LLM which is used behind ChatGPT is GPT. GPT, now we are using GPT-5. Similarly, you have Google Gemini, right? So the LLM used behind Google Gemini is Gemini 2.5 Pro. So likewise, there are different models we will be using in our real life. And these are basically the LLMs which are being used. The applications are the ChatGPT and Google, but the underlying LLMs which are used are GPT-5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro or 2.5 Flash and so on. So let us quickly jump into one of our favorite browser. We will open our favorite LLMs. So I can go to ChatGPT and it opens this kind of a command line prompt or a chat prompt where I can go and ask some questions. For example, I want to create an image of a maybe a South Indian king in inspired by Bahubali style and so on. So I can write a prompt saying I want to create a image of a South in by an Indian king in style create create a prompt for Google Nano Banana with details about lighting, camera angles, style, and composition of this theme. So I'm just writing this a small prompt. This is called as a prompt. We are writing this small prompt. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a prompt for Google Nano Banana. If you have heard of Google Nano Banana, this is released recently. It's the Gemini 2.5 Flash model. It is able to create amazingly well pictures. So I'm just creating one LLM I'm using for creating the prompt, and the second LLM I will be using for creating the image. So I run it, and this will help us to create a prompt. So as you see, it's a detailed production grade prompt for Google Nano Banana. Here you go. A majestic South Indian king standing tall in full royal armor inspired by the epic Bahubali aesthetic. Okay. So if you see, it has provided camera angles, lighting, and mood, and all that stuff. So I go copy this. We will use another LLM, the Gemini model, Gemini.google.com. And this is where you have seen, like, if you have not used this, please use it. It is the Google Nano Banana model. You can go and create images. It will create wonderful images with this. So I'll use this prompt for creating the images. Internally, it uses the 2.5 Flash model, the Gemini 2.5 Flash model. It will take few seconds for creating this image. There you go. And here you see there's a very wonderful muscular South Indian king. Uh, nice armor look and feel, and you can see the background also. The scene is absolutely brilliant. It is able to create the scene without me saying. If I just would have written a small prompt, it would not have created such kind of a magnificent output. But we are using the power of LLMs and we are able to create such kind of an output. So what we have seen, what we have done so far is using our known ChatGPT and Gemini models for creating this. But let us further understand what are these types of LLMs. So we have something called as a closed source. Closed source, or we can call it as frontier models. So what are these frontier models? The models like ChatGPT, the model behind the ChatGPT, the OpenAI models, which are like GPT-5, GPT, GPT-4, GPT-5 mini. Likewise, there are different models. we will be using one of these models. Google, Google also have similar models like Gemini 2.5 Pro model, 2.5 Flash model, and so on. We have another company called as Anthropic. Anthropic comes up with models like Claude 4.5, Claude Sonnet, Haiku, and so on. Likewise, different models are there. So all these models will help us to do invocations. It is like pay as you go via an API. So you can use an API based invocations. You can pay as you go depending upon how much you use. It will be for 1 million tokens, 1 million tokens input and 1 million tokens output. Depending upon that utilization, you have to pay for these closed source models. Right? These closed source models will be used for doing that kind of a payment. Similarly, we also have something called as open source models. In the open source models, uh, we also have the OpenAI. Recently, OpenAI released their open source model. It is called as GPT OSS. This is the open source model of OpenAI. Similarly, Google has their Gamma models, Gamma, Gamma 3 models. We have models from DeepSeek. We have models from DeepSeek is a Chinese model. We have models from Alibaba. Model names are called as Quen. Models from Meta called as Llama models. These are all our open source models, smaller ones, but open source models, and they will be used for doing a lot of open source invocation. Closed source models, and we have open source models. Just a second, guys. Let me show you like how do we use the open source model and create a local LLM for us to operate on it. So I can go to the browser and I can go type, for example, I can type something called as olama.com. So when I enter the olama.com, this is a website which will help us to download a library which will be able to invoke open source models. The free ones, I'll be able to invoke their open source models and I can use them for my operations. So you can go to this website and I can click on this download button, and there it will show me depending upon your OS, it will say whether download for Windows or download for Mac or Linux. So you have to click on this download for Windows button. And once you download, it will download an executable of the Olama library. Olama library can be run from local. You will be able to run it from your own machine. And once you download and once you run it, you would see that this small llama icon. So this is called as a llama icon. This small llama icon you will see on the right side. If you are on Windows, you will see that on the right side tray, you will see that small icon running on your machine. But if you are on a Mac, you will see that the same icon, you will be seeing it on the top right corner. Again, in the application tray, you will be able to see this small icon running. Once it is running, it will you can see that it is running on your machine and you will be able to use it for doing operations. Another way of confirming whether you could do whether you want to check whether your model is running or not, you open up a command line prompt and you enter O Llama. When you do this, you see that you'll see a bunch of commands. You'll see all these commands. And when you're seeing these commands, that then you can confirm that your Olama is running on your machine. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to download this library. This is the Olama library. You download it and execute the library. You go through the installation steps. Once it is done, it will be showing on the top right corner or bottom right corner. And to confirm, further confirm, you open up your command line prompt and then enter Olama. Once you enter that, you should see all these commands that will say that your Olama is running on your machine. So let us let us recap what we have done so far. We understood the concept of the open source models and the closed source models. We are understanding what is generative AI, how can I invoke this model, and we are looking at the open source versus closed source. We looked at the closed source models like ChatGPT and Gemini. You can use them directly from your browsers. But open source models, we are seeing like how do I download one of these models and do some operations. That's what we are seeing here. So I can go and download and you could do this operations. Now in this Olama library, what are the models available? If you go to this models tab, you should see that these are the models available. You have GPT OSS, you have Qwen 3 models, you have DeepSeek models, Qwen Coder, Gamma 3 model, and so on. The Gamma 3 is the model from Gemini. So if I click on this one of the model, it will show you what are the lower level models available. The Gamma 3 has multiple variants, and you could see that different variants are available. If you look at Gamma 3 270M, this is 270 million parameters model. It will cost us around 292 megabytes. So 292 megabytes of storage is required in your RAM for running this model. Similarly, we also have a Gamma 1 billion parameter model, 1B. That means that it is a Gamma 1 billion parameter model and it will take around 815 megabytes in our RAM for running this model. The default model is the latest. If you see the latest tag, this is the default model. If you see Gamma 3, by default, it will pick up the 4 billion parameter model. It will take around 3.3 GB. Likewise, we have 27 billion parameter model also, which will take 17 GB. So 17 GB model, you will not be able to run it in your basic machine. You need to have a high-end computing machine. A minimum around 24 GB of RAM should be there, or maybe above like 32 GB RAM should be there for running this model, the 17 GB model. But for smaller machines, these other models are good enough. So for example, I have a 16 GB RAM, but I'm very comfortable with running this 815 megabyte model, which is the Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. Now, how do I run it? There is this command. You have to run this command, Olama run and give the model name. I can copy the model name from here. It is copied. I'll go to my command line prompt. Let me clear it off. And I can do Olama run and the model name. What is it doing is that it is running the Gamma 3 model on my local machine. As you're seeing that we are running the Gamma 3 model on my local machine and it is saying send a message. So it is asking for any question. First question I'll ask, who are you? So who are you? It is responding saying that I am Gamma, a large language model created by Gamma team at Google DeepMind. It is an open weights model and it is publicly available for use. Now I can ask what all things can you do? That's a great question. So it is telling that it can do text generation, it can do information retrieval, it can write poems, it can write articles, it can do question answering, it can write code, conversational and logical tasks, all those things it is able to do. So this is like we spent like what 15 minutes now, and we are able to see that it is we are able to run a local model, and the local model is running in my command line prompt. But there is no fun in running these models from my command line prompt. Can we write a small program in which I can invoke this model? So this is our demo session. It is going to be a little intense. I want you guys to spend a few minutes to understand what's happening. We are trying to understand directly getting into the coding concepts of it, because it will help us to understand the depth of it rather than me spending a lot of time wasting on the theoretical concepts. My way of doing sessions is we will delve into the practical concepts of the applications. And while understanding the practical concepts, we will understand the underlying theory as well. So for now, what we are doing is we are understanding the open source models, and the specific one we are using the Gamma model. I was able to download it. I was able to run it from my command line prompt. Let me show you some code. I have my Visual Studio Code open where I opened the IPython notebook. IPython notebook is a notebook which will help us to write AI ML codes. Specifically, throughout our course, we will be going through the IPython notebook itself. I'll show you like how to install this and all that stuff and so on. But for now, we are just understanding that, okay, I do have my Visual Studio Code, I have my IPython notebook, and I'm able to write some basic code in that. So let us look at cell by cell and then see what is this doing. The first line talks about displaying your markdown output. So if you see this command output, here you see this asterisk asterisk conversation. So this is a markdown script. It is basically for bold characters. So this conversation will be in the bold characters. If you see this asterisk, this is used for bullet points, and this is for bold, headings and so on. So this is the markdown script, and to display this markdown script within the IPython notebook, you will use this library. I will use ipython.display, markdown and display. These are the ones which will be used for displaying my code. Another library we'll use is the OLlama library. We are using the OLlama library for invoking my local models. I will use the OLlama library for running this model from the code. There is another library which I'll use called as Gradio. Gradio is a library which is used for creating small, simple UI screen. Okay, so if I just run it from the code, again, it is no fun. If I can run it from a UI, I can create a very quick UI. I can run from a UI. That will be really great. So that's what we are going to do. I'll click on this play button to run this command, and it, as you see, it quickly ran, and we are able to import these libraries. There are different models which are available for me. I do have the Llama 2 3.2 model. I have the DeepSeek R1 model. I have the Gamma model 1 billion parameter. We just ran this one. So I'll use the same model. Model is equals to Gamma 3 1 billion parameter. I will initialize this variable. And when we talk to the LLM, you need to provide two things. First one is the system prompt, and second one is the user prompt. Now the system prompt is nothing but it will set the tone for my model. It will tell what the model has to do, what are the rules and regulations, if there are any instructions, what are the instructions, how should the model behave, what should be the tone of the model, how the output should be. All those things will be decided by the system prompt. You are a helpful AI assistant. We just gave a simple system prompt here. We did not complicate it, but we can complicate it as much as possible by providing all the rules and all the details to this. Similarly, just a second, guys. Sorry. Similarly, you will also have a user prompt. User prompt is nothing but show me the recipe for biryani. So this is the command which is the input, which is the input prompt. It is like the input to your model. Like in the chat GPT and the Gemini models, whatever we give as an input, that becomes the user prompt. It is basically the user prompt of your model. So two prompts you need to give, the system prompt and the user prompt. User prompt is your query. Whatever you're trying to ask, that is the query of the user prompt. And here I'm asking like, show me the recipe for biryani. This is the user prompt which I'm giving, and it will try to create a good recipe for biryani. It was already created. I ran it previously, but now I'm just showing you how to run it again. This is the code for running your Olama model. I can say olama.chat. It will expect two things. First one is what model are we using? Here we are using the Gamma model, Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. That is the model we are using. And what are the messages? Messages use a standardized format. This is an OpenAI standard format in which we provide the messages. It will have like a role. For example, role is system and the content is the system prompt. If you look at the system prompt will be like you are a helpful AI assistant. And the role is user and the content is user prompt. User prompt is the user query, whatever is being given. And once you run this function, olama.chat, it will get you a response. A response is in a different format. Response has something called as message. Within the message, you have something called as content, and that's where your output stays. So you can say response of message of content that will bring you your output data. And if I run it, it will take around 15-20 seconds for constructing the output. What is it constructing? It is showing me a recipe for biryani. It's taking 17 seconds. All right, it took around 24 seconds and it is able to create a very nice recipe. And if you see, there are bold characters, there is bullets and sub bullets, all those things. This is the markdown script. And as you see, it is nicely able to create an output. Detailed instructions are provided, tips and notes and all those things. We are able to get it. So what you did, we have used the local model, the local Gemma 3 model for creating our own local chatbot kind of a thing. So of course, it's not a chatbot yet. We are using a program for running this. Are you guys following, guys? If you guys are following, just put a yes in the chat window. If you have any questions, please put the question also in the chat window if you have any questions. If you're following, please put a yes or thumbs up or anything in the chat window so that I can understand that you guys are following me. So we spent around 30 minutes now, and what we are able to understand is we were able to create my own local chatbot, and I am able to create this local application. Let us understand further. Can I create a chatbot UI interface, right? So that's what I'm going to create a small little UI interface using the Gradio. So for that, I will create a small function. This is a shout function. What it will do, any text you pass in the input, it will convert into an uppercase. That's what it will do. So I'll run it. So when I say shout function, it will basically convert that into an uppercase. If I pass a small hello, it will respond as a capital hello, right? So this is a small function I've created so that I can create a UI around the function and I'll be able to run a small UI. So I'll write a single line of code. The single line of code will create a UI for me. This is a Gradio interface, the Gradio's interface function, Gradio.interface. I can pass the shout function. Short function will have two things, the input text box and the output text box. I can pass the input in the input text box, and whatever is output, it will come in the output text box. And when I run this line, it will launch a website for us. For example, this is how the website would look like. I can say, wonderful, this is great. So within few minutes, we are able to create a website also. And here, if I pass a small character, it will convert into a capital letter. This is great. We are able to see a website now, and I can create a simple thing, but there is no fun in converting small characters to capital letters. Let us do something meaningful. So I'll go and update the shout function. Instead of the shout function, we will change the shout function to a message GPT function. A message GPT function is again similar to the shout function. It will have an input and it will get an output. But the input is the user prompt. Whatever user is asking the question, that is the input to the message GPT. And we will call the same response, the same Olama chat function. And the response is the of the model, output of the model. So that is the message GPT. Maybe we'll add a little more lines. So 6 lines input, 8 lines output. It will make it a little look nicer. And if I go here, it takes a second for loading. There you go. So you have a nice input-output response. I can ask a question like, what is an LLM? So I'm asking a question and I submit. It takes few seconds for getting the response. On the right side, it is showing how much time it is taking. It takes around 7, 8, 10 seconds maybe for getting the response. It took around 10 seconds and then you see that it is showing the response. The response is in a markdown script. As you see, there is asterisks and so on. The text box output is in a text box, and that's the reason it is not showing in a markdown format. But you see that this is a markdown script and it has nicely given what does LLM do. It is able to generate text, translate languages, answer questions and all that stuff. And one thing we observed is that it is taking more time. So it takes around 10-20 seconds for responding to an answer, which we don't want to wait. Can we get instantaneous answers, right? If you have a question like, can we get an instantaneous answer? Yes, we can do it. But for that, I can go and change my function. I can change my function as a stream GPT. What does a stream GPT do? You will add one single line called as stream is equals to true. Everything else is same. You'll just say stream is equals to true. That means that it will be sending the response in a streaming fashion. Input will be responded in a streaming fashion. And when I'm getting the response in a streaming fashion, I need to collect the response in stream fashion and need to display it. So instead of sending one single chunk of message, it will come in smaller chunks, one chunk at a time. So I have to iterate through all the chunks and I have to yield the result. That's what I'm doing. I'm iterating through every chunk as and when it is coming, and then I'm displaying that as an output. So the stream GPT, as you see, it is the same function, but with small changes. One is the stream is equals to true. It will enable my output to be coming as a streaming output rather than one single output. And while it is coming as a streaming output, I iterate through all the individual chunks and then get you the response. So let us run the same thing again. I run the stream GPT and there you go. You get the message and output. In this time, we are output as markdown. Instead of a text box, we are responding gr.markdown. We are responding the output as a markdown script. So there is the second link which I want to click. This is the Gradio Live website. And there you go. This is how it looks like. If I ask what is an LLM, the same question again. In the previous one, what is an LLM? This is the output. We're asking the same question, but now if you see in few seconds, it is going to write. As you see, it's like typing as and when you go, right? So as you see, and it is also responding in a markdown script. This is the markdown script. You see this bold bullets and all that stuff. This is a markdown script. We spend around 40 minutes now, and we are able to create a website where I can create my own local chatbot. But one more thing, I'll put this website on your chat window. I want you guys to click on this website and then see if you guys are able to see it on your browser. And if you're able to see it, can you type something? Ask any question as if you're asking to ChatGPT and see if it is responding or not. I want you guys to play with it. It might take a few seconds because multiple people are invoking messages to it. I'll just be back in a minute. You guys play with it. All right. I hope you guys tried it. If you got any response, let me also try along with you. I want to travel to USA for 2 weeks. Please plan a detailed trip covering important places. So I use it, and there you go. It is able to respond instantaneously. So I said, okay, create an itinerary for USA for few days, right? So as you see, this is how it is creating a response, right? Did you guys try it out? Any is able to give some response? Can I get a response from you? Yes, tried it out, right? So what we did is we spent around what 45 minutes now, and we are able to create a nice looking UI, and we are able to understand how to run a local LLM. All right. So in our course, what we are going to learn is I'll just brief you about what all things we will be doing in the course. The course we will start understanding Python for AI. We'll spend a few weeks understanding this Python for AI, where we'll be covering all the important Python libraries. which are responsible for doing all the AI related programming, coding, and all that stuff. We'll not be learning like the basics of Python, like how do you write functions, what are classes, and all that stuff. We are not going to learn those things, but we are going to focus on the important libraries responsible for AI. After that, we will be getting into something called as classical machine learning. In the classical machine learning, we will talk about a lot of things like supervised models, unsupervised models, and so on. There are a lot of models available here. We will be learning all those different types of models, supervised, unsupervised models, and so on. After this, we'll get into something called as generative AI. Whatever we learn today, we will do an extension, much deeper extension of generative AI modeling. Then we'll do something called as agentic AI. This is an extension of generative AI. So we will understand how do you construct applications using agentic AI and so on. And then we will discuss about how do we productionize these AI ML models. We will learn ML ops and LLM ops for productionizing these applications. After you learn LLM ops, ML ops, and LLM ops, we'll get into something called as cloud computing. We will understand how cloud-based models are run. For example, you will cover AWS, GCP, Azure. Different types of cloud providers are there where we will use one or two cloud providers to see how do we deploy AI models, how do we deploy generative AI applications, how do we deploy ML related models, and so on. All those things will be covered in a very detailed manner. So this is the flow of the course. We will take around 2.5 months, including all the holidays and all that stuff. So it'll take around 2.5 months. So we have Christmas holidays, we have New Year, we have Sankranti, all those things included. It will be around 2.5 months. It will be 6 days a week. Every day we will take like 45 minutes of session plus say 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A. Session will happen at 7 a.m. IST. I am in the IST time zone. So depending upon your time zone, if you are in India, this is the 7 a.m. IST time zone. If you are in US, you have to find out the relevant time zone. It could be 8:30 or 9:30 or 7:30, whatever the time zone you are in, it will align accordingly. Apart from every day, I would recommend you guys to spend like 5 hours per week for learning additional materials. We will be having a lot of materials, codes, and these video recordings. All this will be provided, but I would recommend you guys to spend additionally maybe 4 to 5 hours a week for learning more than whatever we are discussing in the course. It would also require you guys to prepare for interviews. It will also identify doing research on what type of jobs are there, which are locations are providing entry jobs, and so on. Those all things you have to do. And this is a nice time of the year because pretty much the entire if you look at multiple industries, they will be cutting down on the yearly spends, maybe winding down for the year. So it's will be a little slow down at the end of the year. And when the year starts next year, 2026, you will see a lot of opportunities coming in. So it is a very good time of the year for now to prepare and be ready for the next year and work on that. All right. So this is the overall structure of the course and different other things. Do let me know if you have any questions so that we can discuss.
Hi Sitaram, this is Vicky here. I have picked out without any prior coding experience, can we get onto the this course? Because here you said like Python for AI, like you'll be just getting only the libraries and also um, do we need any prerequisite in order to start this?
If you are familiar with any other programming language, it is okay. So it doesn't need to know Python, but you know basic constructs of programming. If you're familiar with that, it is good enough. Or else, what I'll do is I encourage people to do Python programming, the basic course. It will take
Mhm.
around 1 or 2 weeks for to brushing up on those things. All the things which are required for AI, we will be covering. But the basics of programming, how do you write a program, how to write a construct, and all those things, I would recommend you guys to learn.
Okay. And after this course, like how much experience with I mean, obviously, like yeah, we have to get through the concepts, but how much basic experience we can go with? Do we need to go with only like an entry level, or can we go with some experience?
So this particular course will help you to get into uh, 3 to 5 year experience minimum. That kind of expertise you'll get, but depend upon where you are. For example, you're already like a 10-year experience, then you will utilize your previous experience and blend them to change your resume and create that kind of a profile for you. But this one you can directly pitch in as a 4 to 5 year experience person.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Sitaram.
Hi, Sitaram. This is Praveen. I have like similar question. I'm from the testing background, and
Mm.
how difficult it is to change this one to this like convert to AI.
Yeah.
I mean, to completely technology shift like us. How difficulty and how about this like a job market? I would like to know that.
Yeah, yeah. So I will generally conduct another session. So I would recommend you guys to come to that demo also. Probably we'll conduct early next week. In
Mhm.
that, I will show end-to-end opportunities for AI and where everyone has to pitch in. So for somebody who is from a QA background, I would not directly recommend to completely jump and then get into AI and then forgetting about everything about QA and other stuff. We have specific roles. For example, we have ML tester roles, AI tester roles, which will be using in AI testing or ML testing. We also need to test these applications, right? So the same frameworks will be used for testing those applications as well. So that will be a good entry level role. So you have to complement your already existing knowledge and then get into such kind of a roles. And from there, the pathway is easy rather than completely jumping into a programming from a non-programming background. You eventually get into the groove. I will talk about how that um, how that has to be done. What are the different pathways? I will talk about that in a great detail. But for that, I recommend you to attend the next demo, which will be on end-to-end AI lifecycle. I'll talk in great detail about it.
Okay, you meant to say it's a different course, or
No,
like
no, no.
it will be addition to this one.
No, no, the couple of demos we will be doing, right, before somebody will register for the course. Uh,
Hmm.
so another demo I conduct generally for the same thing. Okay, maybe the next session I'll do that.
So you mean to say like the same, this course will be helpful for like a, we can switch this path, like either we can choose it to testing role or we can choose it to development role.
Yes.
Is that what
Primarily,
me?
it's focusing on generative AI development and so on. But for a tester, they will understand what all things are available. And then you have to pitch your profile according to the testing role. Like, as I said, right, ML tester roles are there already. So instead of
Okay.
like regular automation testing or another testing, we need to pitch for the ML testing roles, AI testing roles.
Okay. See, the same course will help, like we can choose either
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Same course
Oh,
will help for that understanding.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
And one more question, Sitaram, like there is a, I'm hearing a buzzword like saying RAG,
Hmm.
RAG. So
Yeah.
are you covering those that topic as well?
Yes, yes. All the topics will be covered. That is part of generative AI.
Okay.
Just mentioned the names of it, but within that name, there are so many topics which will be covered. We will be covering RAG, MCPs, different kinds of frameworks like LangChain, LangGraph. All those things will be covered in the course. So it will be like a 2.5 month course, and uh, and I would encourage people to gear up, right? So I can spend 4 or 5 months also, and then talk about basics and all that stuff, but I will only focus on important things, and uh, and then it will require you guys to gear up a little bit. It will not be overwhelming. I will promise that it will not be overwhelming, but it will require for us to be active and in active learning mode. Right? That's the request.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? So there is a question, do we need to be code savvy? Does it involve too much coding? In the future, not people will not be need to do coding. Already we are doing vibe coding. Vibe coding in sense we will take the help of ChatGPT or similar kind of co-pilots for doing coding. We need to know what to code. So it's more of a understanding of what to code, how to debug. So that analytical skill should be there. And in the future, I'm very confident that we'll not be doing coding. Yeah, you don't have to remember syntax, you don't have to remember the coding constructs and so on. We'll be working with co-pilots. It's like a pair programming kind of a thing where we, along with the co-pilot agents, we will be doing coding. It will be coding, reviewing, doing merge request, and all that stuff will happen along with the agents. It's already coming now, but by next year, this time, we will see that most of our coding will be along with these agents. Got it?
Hi, this is Narendra.
Mhm.
I wanted to know how it is useful, like, in my career is overall 19 years of experience in SAP. Okay. I wanted to learn basics of AI. Just, is it helpful to me, like SAP side? Just I wanted to know.
Hmm. Yeah, I think if you already have a rich experience, almost 19 years of experience, you will know the nuts and bolts of how the applications work, the processes, the frameworks, workflows, and so on. In SAP also, we are using these concepts of generative AI, agentic AI to change the processes, workflows, and introducing automations and so on. So if we can complement your already known skill with the understanding of AI, that will help you to propose solutions, that will help you to create applications, products in the SAP line, right? Of course, SAP also have a lot of analytical tools like SAP HANA. HANA, you already know, that is a, a similar kind of analytical database. Likewise, those tools are getting now upgraded with AI capabilities. And you will also see that agents will be coming up in the next future. So this course will help you to understand
Yeah,
that.
mostly SAP we are using like now agents and search engines of this one generative whatever you are explained right now. That is only we are using. Mostly plays a key role of agents and actions how it is going to be taken using a LLM.
Correct. So this course will help you to understand how those agents are working. So if you want to tweak and then change something in the workflow, or you want to introduce something new, or you want to create a newer solution,
Mm-hmm.
that is something this course will be helping you.
Is it like coding is rich experience required or normal?
As I said, coding will be done because this is a combination of multiple people, right? So there are people who are developers who are experienced like you, and mid-range people, there are freshers also. So this
Mhm.
course is a coding course only. I'm not
From
saying this
basic
is
converts you are going to cover, do we need any prerequisite things to know startup
yeah,
AI? Because
correct, correct.
basically I am a technical I can say like my experience is like techno-functional. I started my career as a developer. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm comfortable with coding also. That's not a problem. But before startup, is there any prerequisite required for the basic things to learn? Means I can learn. That's the
Mhm.
main thing. Because I wanted to know clear cut knowledge on this. That's the reason I'm
Yeah.
asking.
So, as I said, right, programming language, if you're familiar with any programming language, then you don't have to worry about it. I will be
Mm-hmm.
talking about Python and libraries, how do you write code in Python and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are like somebody who I have never done programming, I don't know any ABC of programming, then I would recommend them to do basics of Python. Like there is Python programming, Python for basics like that. You could do that, which will tell like how do you write a program, or what are the class, what is a construct, object-oriented programming, all those things. So
Oh, okay.
that so if you are already familiar, I have written programs way back.
Yeah, I have
Then
no
then
more
then
hands-on, but
there is no
Python I don't know because I only know only AB, AP, ABAP. That's it.
that
Other
is
than
that is
that, I
okay.
am
That is
not
okay.
sure.
That is okay. See,
Okay, okay,
we don't
that's
need a specific programming language. We need to
okay.
have understanding. That's it.
Okay, and that's fine. Thanks. Thank you very much. It was nice demo. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions, guys? If you don't have any questions, we can close the session. Have a nice weekend, and there will be another demo lined up next week. I would encourage you guys to attend the demo at least, so that you get more understanding on the end-to-end life cycle. Where do you identify jobs, which jobs to pitch in, depending upon your experience. You might be 20-year experience, you might be 5-year experience, you might be having a mainframe background or a Java background or a QA background. We need to understand from which areas we need to go into this AI. This is a maze, so we need to know the right doors, I would say. So those doors have to be opened. Attend the next demo, and if you have any friends, do let them know that course is happening. Course will start from next week. Next week I'll start like basics. Very, very simple basics will be covered next week. But from the week after, we will be covering more in-depth course coverage. All right. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.